Today's event is how to apply for CIPS IT certification, and I'm Jonathan Elias. If you have any questions about this presentation, you can either email info@kips.ca. You can also send me a direct email to jelias@kips.ca. That's JELIAS@CIPS.ca. So first, I'd like to welcome you all for taking your time to attend this event. We kindly ask that you keep your mic muted and your cameras off until the end where we have our Q&A portion. Throughout this presentation, if you have any questions, just please post them in the chat and then we'll get to them during that Q&A portion. I'm going to start briefly just telling you a little bit about CIPS and some member benefits, and then we'll jump into how to apply for a CIPS certification. So briefly, a little bit of history about CIPS. We're celebrating our 65th anniversary, as CIPS was formed in 1958 by a dedicated group of data processors. They got together at a conference to demonstrate the value of sharing ideas, networking with fellow professionals, and learning about changes in technology. Similar how CIPS members today will get together at events and share information and ideas. That event sparked the formation of the Computing and Data Processing Society of Canada, and in 1968, the society name was changed to the current Canadian Information Processing Society, or short form is CIPS. On the right there is the founder of CIPS and the father of computing in Canada, Calvin C. Kelly Gottlieb. Some quick facts about CIPS. We're an IT federation of 9 CIPS provincial societies that license IT professionals locally and abroad. Each CIPS provincial society is a community of IT professional members, and they provide networking and professional development opportunities. Since 1989, the I.S.P designation is Canada's only legally recognized designation for IT professionals, and that's in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Also in 2008, CIPS launched their ITCP designation, which is Canada's only internationally IP3P accredited designation for senior IT professionals. And we'll talk about both designations a little bit later in the presentation. CIPS's mission is to protect the public through ethical and skilled IT professionals in practice, and to develop and align IT standards for professionals and accredited programs, working to increase recognition of the IT profession to industry, government, academia, and the public, and to develop and maintain the integrity and competence of individuals active in IT. We're also looking to advance the theory and practice of IT and promote sharing of information and establish public awareness of the potential impacts and misuse of IT. This is just a glimpse of some of our relationships and partners. CIPS has both a variety of partners in Canada as well as a variety of international relationships, which both allow us to work together to raise IT standards and also co-host events together. CIPS also has accreditation, which basically the CIPS accreditation team, we visit universities and colleges to review their IT programs to ensure that they meet the required ethical standards and knowledge standards. And if you want to view if your CIPS accredited program, if your program was accredited by CIPS, you can visit kips.ca/accreditation. And graduates of CIPS accredited programs are eligible for the AITP designation and 1 year of free CIPS Canada membership. Some quick member benefits. CIPS has our skills assessment and career planning tool, certification of IT professionals, networking opportunities, events and professional development, community discussion forums. You can volunteer to build new skills. We have a niche IT job board, which also as a member, if you're looking to fill a role, you can post jobs at a discounted rate. And we also have discounts on a variety of other products and services. Now that skill assessment and career planning tool, this is one of the requirements for the CIPS certification application. However, even if you're not applying for certification, it's something that I highly recommend that you take. Basically, it'll allow you to assess your current IT skills with the International SOPHIA framework, which is a skills framework for the information age. You'll take a survey, and basically it'll give you an output of the various skills that you have and also what skill levels. You can then use the planner to edit and update your skills throughout the year. We recommend that our members, at least once a year, you go into your planner and update your skills, as you might have taken some professional development or got new work experience in order to level up in certain skills. You can also set career goals with the planner. So basically on the right-hand side, you can see what your skills are. You can set a future role. Let's say, you put, IT director, and it'll overlay showing what the requirements are for that role. And then you can also see where your skills gaps are. So it's a nice way to find out where your skills are, see what current levels you are at, and then do some planning for the future in order to upskill to get your desired future roles. So quickly, Sophia, the framework is over 120 defined skills, and it has a global footprint in 180 countries, and it's translated into over 12 languages. It is not just an IT framework, it also includes 9 non-IT skills, as there are a variety of tech roles that require not just tech skills, but also non-IT skills like people skills, for example. The Sophia framework is also not just for large companies, can be used by individuals like IT professionals like yourself, or it can also be used nationally for countries for their national skills and competency initiatives. And this is just a zoomed out view of what the Sophia framework looks like. These are all the skills. They're organized into certain areas. And you can see each skill, it has up to 7 levels. So on the right-hand side here, you can see level 1, maybe you just have the knowledge, up to all the way to level 7, where you have expertise in that area or that skill. We also have our IT community forum, which allows you to participate in discussions and share knowledge and resources with both members, both locally and around the world. So we have our IT water cooler forum, which allow you to post discussions and share them with all members. And then we also have our provincial community groups, where you can post discussions or ask questions to those in your provincial society. So a great way that if you want to reach CIPS members, both locally in Canada or even our international members abroad, I would say definitely check out the community forum. When you post a discussion, not only is it on the community forum website, but CIPS members will also receive an email digest with any new discussions or posts that are made in the forum. CIPS also hosts a variety of events, both in-person and online events. If you're in the Regina area, on November 9th, we're having a conference with ISAC and PMI, which looks like to be a fantastic conference. So if you're in the area or can travel to Regina, definitely highly recommend checking it out. We also have another IIT Professionalism Week event tomorrow with CIPS CEO Greg Lane, who will be discussing growing ethical IT talent in Canada. Again, that'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you can register via the CIPS website. This is kind of just a brief glimpse of what Greg's going to be talking about. Basically, this is showing how over the years, the demand for IT skills continues to increase. And the infographic that Greg will be talking to basically shows where maybe there's certain overflows, but also potential in order for us to work together to help develop talent. And in the end, get a lot more senior specialists, which Canada is going to need over the years. And Greg is going to talk about things that we can do both as individuals or organizations to help with Canada's digital skills supply. CIPS also has the Code of Ethics. With all members, they must abide by the Code of Ethics. That includes protecting the public interest and privacy of information, avoiding conflicts of interest, taking professional responsibility, and contributing to the IIT profession. Now, when you apply for CIPS certification, you are required to take the CIPS ethics exam, which will basically test you on the CIPS Code of Ethics. Even if you're not applying for CIPS certification, you can still take the ethics exam. It's a free exam, and you'll get a nice certificate once you complete the exam. So now jumping into the certifications. So the I.S.P certification, we noted, is Canada's only legally recognized designation for IT professionals, and it was launched in 1989. Then we also talked briefly about the ITCP, which is our internationally IP3P accredited designation, which recognizes both IT and business skills. And then we have the AITP, which is for those who have the knowledge, but not yet the IT experience for the I.S.P or ITCP. These are just some brief requirements in order to apply for CIPS certification. So first, you're going to need some CIPS membership. Then you're going to pay for the application review fee. Then you'll pass that CIPS ethics exam, which is a free exam. You'll be required to provide references for the last 2 years. Or if you don't have references yet, since you just graduated from an IT university college program, you can provide 2 sponsor letters instead. Now, there's a single certification application, so you don't have to worry about what designation that you want to apply for. Basically, you fill out the application, provide all the requirements, and then you'll be provided with any of the designations that you're eligible for. So for example, we do have a lot of applicants who will get approved for both the I.S.P and ITCP professional certifications when applying. Now, in the application itself, we have the IT education review section, where you'll provide any official transcripts for any IT university or college education that you have in North America. Or if you have education outside of North America, you would provide a Canadian course-by-course equivalency assessment instead of the official transcripts. And in both cases, the assessment or transcript must come directly from the institution to CIPS to ensure authenticity. And then in terms of the experience section, you'll fill out the experience section and document your IT experience, which I'll show you in a moment. Also provide a resume and CV or CV, and then also attach the SOPHIA skills assessment that I mentioned earlier. You're also required to have at least 1,000 hours of IT work experience in the last 12 months in order to be approved for the I.S.P or ITCP designations. Now, this is just giving you an idea of different routes that you could be approved for the certifications. You don't have to know this in detail, but if you do want to get an idea of how you might be able to be approved for certain designations, this will give you a glimpse of that. So for example, let's say you graduated from a CIPS accredited 4-year university degree program. You would only need 2 years of IT experience and currently working at SOPHIA Level 3. Now, both these links, SOPHIA Level 3 or Level 5, you can click them on the CIPS website or in the application, and it will give you a detailed description of what those levels are at and what they represent. So on the other side, you might have a CIPS accredited 4-year university degree. It only requires 2 years of experience. But then let's say you have a non-accredited 2-year college program, then you would require 7 years of experience in order to get approved for the I.S.P or with working at SOPHIA Level 3 currently. Or in this example, if you want to be approved for the ITCP, you would also have to have at least 6 years of IT experience, with the last 2 years working at a minimum of SOPHIA Level 5. Now, if you don't have any IT education, you can still be approved for the I.S.P or ITCP through the experience-only routes. And essentially, for the I.S.P, you would need 8 years of IT work experience and currently working at a minimum of SOPHIA Level 3, while the ITCP, to get approved for that, you would need 8 years of IT experience and the last 2 years at a minimum of SOPHIA Level 5. Well, before we go to the questions, I'm going to now just jump to the CIPS website, and I'll give you a brief overview of the application, how to access it, and some other resources. So let's see here. Oh, wrong one. All right, there we go. So this is the CIPS website. If you click the certification link, that's where it's going to take you. And basically all the information you need is on this page. But the first step, even before applying, would be to join as a CIP member. So step 1, join CIPS. Step 2, you pay the application review fee. Then you also would take the skills assessment. And I should also note, this is a nice link here, the frequently asked questions. If you have a question, I would suggest checking this page first. And then if it's not listed there, then you can email the CIPS office either at info@kips.ca or certification@kips.ca. In order to get the certification page, you can either click the certification link or apply. Either way, it'll take you to this page. So one thing to note, whether you're looking on the page kips.ca/certification or the application, both of them will have all the information that you require. So really, all you need to do is download the application. It'll have all the details and information that you need. So here, basically, again, is showing the requirements. If you click Apply Today, you'll be able to download the application. Otherwise, that information about the designations and the requirements are all listed here. So the first is the brief overview of what the designations represent. Again, we said the I.S.P is Canada's only legally recognized designation since 1989. The ITCP is our IP3P accredited designation. And what that means is it allows for mutual acceptance routes. So for example, if you are a member of the Australian Computer Society and you hold their CP designation, that is also IP3P accredited and at the same SOPHIA standards. So those with the ACS CP designation can come to CIPS and get the equivalent ITCP designation. And then the AITP, again, it's our pre-professional designation where applicants have the IT knowledge, but not yet the IT experience for the professional I.S.P or ITCP designations. Also note, if you graduated from a CIPS accredited program, then you're eligible for the AITP designation without submitting the application, and you also receive 1 year of free CIPS Canada membership. So here you can click that link and it'll show you basically details about how to apply and also to view if your program was accredited by CIPS. If your program wasn't accredited by CIPS, then you would just fill out the certification application that we're talking about, and you would have your IT education reviewed. Oh, and there's another link right here if you want to view if your program was accredited. So the application requirements, again, we talk about CIPS membership, application review fee, ethics exam, references for the last 2 years, and then you provide that application, which again, you're providing your transcripts or Canadian education equivalency assessment if it's a school outside of North America. And again, make sure that is a course-by-course assessment, which lists the individual courses you completed and their grades. The experience section, again, you'll fill out the experience, provide your resume or CV, and then provide the skills assessment. Again, this is on the main certification page. If you want to see what the requirements are in terms of to get approved, so you can look at your education and based on the years of IT experience. We also have some information about that mutual acceptance route if you do hold an IP3P accredited designation. Also some information about SOPHIA. So basically SOPHIA has 5 general levels of responsibility as well as specific skill definitions. And each of those skills, they can be rated from levels 1 to 7. We also have links here where you can find out what the definitions are for each of these. So SOPHIA level 3, 4, 5, just give you a quick glimpse of what those look like. So SOPHIA level 3, these are the 5 core knowledge areas that I talked about: autonomy, influence, complexity, business skills, and knowledge. And you can read those definitions and see what it would be for level 3, which would be required in order to be approved for the I.S.P. Same thing for the ITCP. You can read the definitions for level 5 for the general levels of responsibility. You can also click all skills, which will show you the 120 plus SOPHIA skills, as well as the description for those skills. So, here, let's take, business intelligence, for example. You'll get a nice summary of what each level is rated for that skill. And you can get a sense of if you're working at that skill level. Also should note that CIPS requires all certified members to recertify every 3 years. So every 3 years, you basically will submit a recertification form, which confirms that you have at least 100 continuing professional development credits over the last 3 years, as well as at least 3,000 hours of IT work experience over the last 3 years. So basically, it's a way to confirm that you're staying active in the IT industry, as well as continue with that professional development. So coming back to the top, if you come to the kips.ca/certification page, you click Apply Now, it'll take you to the application, which I will briefly go through with you. All right, so this is the CIPS certification application. Again, all the information that you need is here. This is going to look very familiar to what you just saw on the website, just providing some information and links. You get more detailed information about ethics exam or references or sponsors if you don't have IT experience. The first application page, basically just your basic details, your CIPS membership number and join date, as well as what the name should be on your certificate once you're approved for CIPS's designations. The education review section, you would input your college or university details if it is within North America, especially. Otherwise, if it is a school outside of North America, in addition to putting your school, you would also indicate what assessment service was used and the date that it was sent to CIPS, and also if you have a reference number. And again, make sure that is a course-by-course equivalency assessment that lists individual courses and their grades. And in both cases, whether it's the transcript or the equivalency assessment, the official assessment or transcript must come directly from the institution to CIPS. Another route we have is the exam route, which uses the BCS or ICCP exams. Basically, you can use the ICCP, CCP, or equivalent exams, or the BCS diploma level or professional graduate level exams. So this would fulfill the education or knowledge portion if you don't have an IT university or college degree or diploma. Now, if you don't have any IT experience, IT education, you can apply just via the experience route. You just require more years of IT experience. So now these templates, for each one of these templates, we ask that you use it for each specific role or employer that you've been with, and it shouldn't be more than a few years for each documentation, because essentially the assessors are looking to see career progression. So we don't want to see 10 years in the same role or position. Please break it down if possible to various employers or clients or roles that you've had, and demonstrate how your responsibilities have changed over the years. So in this first example, if you're documenting, let's say your most recent work history, the main thing here is you're going to document your responsibilities and relate them to the CIPS levels. So those general responsibilities of autonomy, influence, complexity, business skills, and knowledge that I talked about. And there's a link there to see what those definitions are. So in each of these, let's say autonomy, you're going to click a link to see what the autonomy definitions are. And then you're going to enter what your specific examples of your IT responsibilities, roles and projects that you worked on, and how they relate to autonomy at the certain CIPS levels. So maybe it's CIPS level 3, and you're going to be approved for the I.S.P. Maybe it's relating to CIPS level 5 if you think you can be approved for the ITCP. And so you keep on filling out these templates, copy and paste these templates if you have a lot of different employers. The key is we do want to see your entire IT work history so that you have more years of experience that the assessors can review and utilize for your final review. The second part is the resume/CV. So please make sure you provide an updated resume or CV. And then the third part for that experience section is the skills assessment. So once you complete those surveys, you'll get a report that looks like this. It'll provide the details of all the various skills you have, as well as the skill level for each of those. So, for example, the skill level is showing at level 5 and 6. And this is what the assessors will review and relate to the other experience documents that you provided. And that's basically the documentation, everything you need to provide. This last section is, again, just information from the website, providing more background and information to help you fill out the application. We're showing, again, the routes and education and experience that's required for that, as well as experience routes, again, demonstrating that you'll need 8 years at CIPS level 3 for I.S.P, or 8 years and last 2 years at CIPS level 5 for the ITCP. And again, the details about the education. And here, if you do have education outside North America, provides links to the Canadian education course-by-course equivalency assessment centers that you can use. West tends to be the most popular just because they can send the assessments to CIPS electronically, and CIPS can access it right away. So yeah, basically you can use any of the assessment centers, but if it's possible to get us electronically, that'll help review your application a lot faster. We also should note that CIPS does not review education from private schools unless it was accredited by CIPS. I should also note that we also accept education from accredited programs recognized under the SOL Accord. So you can visit the SOL Accord website, and it'll provide a list of institutions that have accredited programs. You'll see CIPS listed, as well as a few others. So as long as the program was accredited by CIPS or the sole accord, it'll be considered accredited and can be utilized for the review. And this more, again, some information. Reminder, you need at least 1,000 hours of IT work experience the last 12 months in order to get approved for the I.S.P or ITCP. Some more information at Sophia, as well as the links, again, if you want to look at the definitions for 3, 4, 5, or even the specific skills. And then the last section is we really appreciate if you provide any application feedback. Any ways to help us improve the application for the future is greatly appreciated. So now I'm just going to transition back, and we're going to open it up to the Q&A portion now. So if you have any questions about CIPS certifications, or how to apply, or clarification on any items, now would be the time. You can ideally put in the chat, but also if you'd like to turn on your mic or camera, that's also welcome. So we have one that just came in. Where can I mention the route that I need in the application? So yeah, again, you don't need to pick what application or what designation you're applying for. You don't need to pick what route you're applying for. You basically just provide your education, you provide your experience, and then you'll be provided with the designations that you're eligible for. So that chart, which shows the required years of experience based on education, that'll just give you a glimpse of if you'd be approved before applying, but you don't need to specify any specific routes or designation that you want to apply for. You'll just be provided with designations based on the information provided. So I've got a few other questions in the chat here. See, is there any discounts on CIPS membership for unemployed? Yes, there is. So you would just email info@kips.ca or even certification@kips.ca, and then the CIPS office will indicate what type of discount that you can receive. Let's see. Next question is, do you plan to automate the application form to an online form in the future so you can automate some of the evaluation process? So yeah, definitely plans to put the application form online. However, it won't really automate too much of the process. Ultimately, really what most of the processing time is allowing the reviewers, who are comprised of CIPS member volunteers, to review the application. So the automation of would be instead of manually getting the appropriate sections to the reviewers, it would be nice if applicants can just input that information and then it'll be available to the reviewers. However, that is a very small part of the process, and I wouldn't save much time, but it would relieve a little bit of staff time, which we're always looking to do. So definitely in the plans, and hopefully something that we can do within next year. Another one I have a paper assessment from ICAS report from my university degree. Is it acceptable? So a paper assessment is acceptable. It's just it would have to come directly from ICAS. It can't come directly from the applicant. So regardless if it's a transcript or assessment, to ensure authenticity, it must come directly from the institution. So you can have ICAS mail that assessment. Again, just please make sure that is a course-by-course assessment that lists the individual courses and their grades. Also, see, is an ECA from IQS accepted for a course-by-course? I think an ECA isn't a course-by-course. I'd verify that, with IQAS, but I think the ECA is just providing the general equivalent of what the diploma or degree is in terms of the Canadian educational standards. But what we really need for the assessment is those individual courses. Basically, the education review assessment process looks and counts all the accepted IT-related courses, and then uses the amount of courses and what levels, in terms of if they're university or college level, to determine your education rating. which then will also determine how many years of IT experience is required to be approved for CIPS designations. Yeah. Are you aware of equivalencies for CIPS certification in the US? Or where can we find equivalencies in other countries in general? So in terms of, I think you're talking about probably the ITCP, I3P accredited mutual acceptance route. So the best option there would be to visit the IP3 website. And then they have a section where they show the members of IP3 as well as which have certifications that are IP3P accredited. And I think that's all the questions from the chat. Any last minute questions, either again, post in the chat or feel free to turn on your mic and ask me as well. Here, one more came in. What is the frequency of updating the certification application status page on the CIPS website? How often is the page updated with the current status? So what they're referring to is when you apply for CIPS certification, you'll provide it with a link to where you are in the review queue. That certification status page is updated approximately twice a month. But if you have any questions about your application and its status, just send an email to certification@kips.ca. All right, well, looks like that it's all the questions there. Just briefly, also want to note that, oh, sorry, looks like one more came in there. The estimated processing time. So estimated processing time. A normal review time in the past, that was approximately 2 months. However, at the moment, we have a very high amount of certification applications and high demand for CIPS's certifications. So right now, it is currently 6 months at the moment review time. However, two things I'd like to note there is one, we are training additional volunteers. It takes a few months in order for them to undertake the SOPHIA training, and then also to conduct a few sample reviews with experienced reviewers. But essentially, those additional reviewers will help reduce that processing time. So while it is more of a peak review time right now, I would expect that to go down over the next few months. The other thing I'd also like to mention is if you are currently a CIPS member and you have the required IT knowledge or experience, a great way to contribute to CIPS would be to volunteer as a certification reviewer, either on the education or the experience review committee. And you can find that volunteer job posting at jobs.kips.ca. You'll see it highlighted at the top. So yeah, whether if you're able to assist and volunteer, we would greatly appreciate that. And so yeah, what I was just going to note here is if you are currently a student, which means you're registered full-time, minimum of 2 full semesters, you're eligible for free student membership. Or also if you know any students or IT students, we would be very happy if you directed them to the CIPS student membership page and let them know that they can join and experience some of CIPS's member benefits at basically no cost while they are a student. And then we hope, we could help guide them in their IT professional journey once they graduate. So yeah, that concludes our IIT Professionalism Week presentation. We'll make this recording available on the CIPS website and the CIPS newsletter so that you can watch it at a later date and help again guide you through your certification application. But if you have any other questions, feel free to email us at info@kips.ca, or if it's directly certification related, you can also email certification@kips.ca. So yeah, that concludes our presentation. Thank you everyone for taking your time to join me today. And I look forward to engaging with you, whether it be via email, across social media, especially CIPS is very active on LinkedIn. So please follow us there and on the discussion forums as well, if you're currently a member. So yeah, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.